Good evening. A nation of nearly 10 million people has once again been plunged into darkness. Cuba is currently experiencing an island-wide power outage, a dire situation exacerbated by ongoing United States sanctions and a severe lack of energy resources. Compounding this humanitarian crisis, former President Donald Trump has made startling remarks, hinting at a potential takeover of the Caribbean nation. Authorities in Cuba confirmed today, March 17, 2026, that the entire island is without power. The Ministry of Energy announced it is actively searching for the cause of this extensive outage and working tirelessly to restore electricity. This marks the first such island-wide blackout since the beginning of the year, though widespread power failures are far from uncommon. Just 2 weeks ago, approximately two-thirds of the socialist Caribbean state was affected by a similar grid collapse, underscoring the fragility of the country's energy infrastructure. The recurring power crises are deeply rooted in the country's severe energy deficit, primarily stemming from a tightened United States embargo. Cuba's antiquated infrastructure, much of which is in a state of disrepair, struggles to cope, leading to frequent and complete collapses of the national grid. The country is heavily reliant on oil for its electricity generation, a commodity that has become increasingly scarce due to geopolitical pressures. The situation has become particularly acute due to escalating tensions between Cuba and the United States. For months, United States President Donald Trump has been systematically blocking oil deliveries to the island. Specifically, Cuba has not received oil from its traditional ally Venezuela for an extended period. President Trump ordered a comprehensive blockade targeting sanctioned oil tankers that were transporting supplies from the South American nation. This policy has had drastic consequences for the Cuban population, directly impacting their daily lives, from basic utilities to economic activity and access to essential services. Amidst this humanitarian concern, President Trump, speaking to journalists, made cryptic yet significant statements regarding Cuba's future. He indicated a possible Übernahme, a takeover of the socialist country. "I believe I will have the honor to take over Cuba," Trump reportedly said, further elaborating, "in some form, whether I liberate the country or take it over." He added that he could do anything he wanted with the country, though he did not provide any further specific details on his intentions or the mechanisms of such an action. These remarks have naturally sent ripples across the international community, raising questions about the future sovereignty and political landscape of Cuba. The combination of a fragile power grid, debilitating United States sanctions, and the recent controversial statements from a former United States president creates an incredibly volatile situation. For the 10 million residents of Cuba, power outages mean more than just inconvenience. They impact essential services, healthcare, and overall quality of life, often forcing communities into difficult circumstances. The geopolitical implications of such a takeover, even if only rhetorical for now, are immense, potentially altering the balance of power in the Caribbean and reigniting Cold War-era tensions between Washington and Havana. As Cuba grapples with widespread darkness and an uncertain future, the international community watches closely to see how these escalating pressures and pronouncements will ultimately shape the fate of the island nation. We will continue to monitor developments closely as the situation unfolds. What's your take on Cuba plunges into darkness, Trump hints at takeover? Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.